Yo, YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Kari here, back again with another video. So man, I got a very special video for y'all today. I'm excited about this video. It's one that has been on my mind ever since I encountered these books. And just to let you know, today's video is basically 3 books that I highly recommend that everyone should read, I think. Not really focus on like one thing, like investing or fitness or something like that. I think that these 3 books that I'm gonna recommend to y'all today will help you in any walk of life. I mean that. Us growing up and us getting adjusted to life, from a teenager and on, there's a lot of things that you just are not going to be taught. And once you realize that, then you have to kind of go out and get that knowledge on your own. And I found that books work for me as being one of the best ways to kind of take that information in. Now I know that not everybody is a reader and books are not for everybody, but they work for me. They gave me kind of a mindset shift when I needed it on certain topics. So I just want to come to y'all today, give y'all 3 of my favorite books plus a bonus book. And I want to give y'all 3 lessons for each book and kind of give y'all the idea of what the book is about and what it could help you with your life. You know what I mean? So with no further ado, let's get into the first book. It's probably the most popular, most talked about book on the planet when it comes to like personal growth or personal what do they call it, self-help, I think is the genre they call it in like Barnes and Nobles. But yeah, so with no surprise here, fantastic book. I'm gonna get close so I can see that. This is gonna be Rich Dad Poor Dad. Incredible book. Like, I don't know what Robert Kiyosaki, how he was able to frame a book with this type of perspective is incredible. But yeah, Robert Kiyosaki, as you can see here on the book, he's the author. I believe he's from Hawaii and grew up in Hawaii. Very interesting guy. And basically, the 3 things I really learned from this book, number 1 is I learned how money works, or at least the right way, or how it should work. Growing up, no one teaches you how money should work if you want it to be your friend. A lot of us develop toxic relationships with money, and that can haunt you for the rest of your life if you never learn how to use money, how to look at money, how to view money. Because the truth is, you shouldn't be working your entire life and living off only the money that you generate from work. And that's a lesson that this book taught me. And some other lessons I learned from this book. I learned the difference between an asset and a liability. A lot of us just don't know. No one teaches us what a true asset is and what a true liability is. And there's variations of liabilities, there's variations of assets. There's assets that are much better than some, and there's liabilities that are horrible, and so you have to learn, the difference. And a lot of us might think that something is an asset, but, I would really beg you to kind of read this book and then rethink your perspective on everything that you own, everything that you purchase, everything that you want to own and plan to purchase too. And just as an example, a lot of people think that their primary residence, their home that they live in, or their main home. A lot of people do this. They get married and then they finance a home, 30-year fixed rate, thinking that this is going to be the biggest purchase of my life, and it's an investment. That's what the real estate people tell you. That's what kind of the media tells you, and so on and so forth. And it can be, but it's not that simple, right? there are assets that you should technically be investing in that are going to generate money, like residual income and passive income and these types of things. Think about rental income when you own, a house or a duplex and you rent it out and you scratch a little bit off the top, a little profit. That is something that a primary residence doesn't give you. You know what I mean? You're always pouring into it. And a lot of times, because, they put so much emphasis, society puts so much emphasis on your main house and making that big purchase, a lot of people splurge and do a little bit too much, thinking, this is going to be the biggest purchase of my life. I want to be comfortable. I want it to be exactly what I want. And, that can be dangerous. So this book will really help you understand the difference between a liability, an asset, and kind of how to evaluate what your money's doing. And I think the third lesson, I've touched on it a little bit already, but it's a mindset shifter, this book. This book will shift your mindset from thinking like a poor person and start thinking like a rich person. And from my understanding with this, rich people think in terms of what can each dollar do for me? Can I turn this $1 into $2 and eventually into $3, into $10, into $15, right? Versus I got this $1. I want, a new outfit. So I'm going to kill this dollar and it's not going to be able to do anything for me no more. That's the problem when you spend money on things that are not assets. So when you do spend money on things that are not assets, try to limit that first of all, and then just have that conversation with yourself about, is this essential? Can I do without it? Can I put this money into something that's going to grow versus something that's never going to grow for me? Now, it takes a little while and it's honestly not fun. If you're somebody that is like me, grew up not really learning these things, like when you finally have to realize and make changes, it's hard because you're used to spending money on certain things, and you become accustomed to maybe, this wasn't my thing, but I know for a lot of people it's that Starbucks, getting that cup of coffee, that $5, in your head you're like, I work hard for this, I should have this, it's gonna help me fire myself up and get ready for work and whatnot. But in actuality, if the goal is to be rich and that's where you want to be headed, it's not going to serve you very well to go spend that $5 every day when you could be putting it into some Starbucks stock that's going to grow. And let's say you put $100 into the Starbucks stock over a year, it goes from $100 to $200. Now you could take your $100 back and you have $100 invested in a stock that's going to just keep on growing. So that's the type of mindset that you will start to develop with this book right here. Excellent, excellent, excellent book. I think everyone in the world has probably recommended it and or read it, but if you haven't, man, just go pick it up. Amazon, I don't know, maybe $10, $15. And even, I bought this one at Barnes & Noble. I used the receipt for my bookmark. So don't go spending extra money on like a bookmark and all that fancy stuff, unless you have that, But if your goal is to build wealth and everything, start thinking about, man, could I just use a simple piece of paper for a bookmark? Why do I need this fancy, because at Barnes & Noble, they got all these little fancy bookmarks and stuff that, I wanted one, but I was like, man, this ain't gonna really serve me. It's just a cool little thing to have, but the value is really in the reading the books and whatnot. So focus on that. And the bookmark, you just use whatever you got. So I just use the receipt from buying the book. Okay, so it's time for book number 2, guys. Let's get into book number 2. This one was a surprise. It came as a recommendation from one of my financial advisors. Shout out to you, Zach Tussle. He's a financial advisor at Raymond James, but we went to high school together. So he DM'd me and told me about this book right here. So let me give y'all a little look at it. Try to get close. All right, now you can see the title. Yeah, this one's called Relentless, guys. Relentless. Maybe you've heard of it. The author, Tim S. Grover, incredible guy. He's actually been doing a string of media interviews and stuff lately, so you can hear him talk. You know, you can go on YouTube, search his name, Tim S. Grover, and just hear about, you know, his story, hear about kind of what's in this book a little bit. But really, the gist of it is he was the trainer for some of your favorite athletes, at least for me. So we're talking Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and the list goes on and on. So really, this book is meant to kind of teach you about what it takes to win. That's how I would sum it up. You know, this guy works with some of the most famous winners in sports and life that we know of in our society. I mean, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. You know what I mean? So no one wanted to win like Michael Jordan. And so lesson number one for this book is, like I said, what it takes to win. Winning is not something that is easy. It doesn't care about, you know, how bad your leg hurts. It doesn't care about the journey it took to get here. It doesn't care about any of the work that goes into winning. It just cares about who wants it the most. Period. Like, you can have the craziest backstory or whatever, you know, parents died, went to a foster home, this, that, and the other, and then someone could come up with everything. And at the end of the day, who's gonna win? The person that wants it more. You know, now, if you can fuel yourself with your story and use things that happened in your past or in your life to help motivate you, that's great. But this book is just talks about what it takes to win, period, and going, you know, because you never know what it's gonna take. This book is more, it changes your mindset to think like, it doesn't matter what it takes. I'm gonna just do it until I can't do it no more. And you know, it's an incredible book, man. You know, I think it really goes into a lot of mental toughness type of things. Talks about, you know, some of the things that Michael Jordan used to use, Kobe Bryant, some of the ways they used to think about what they were doing. Like, I know with Michael Jordan, he would make things up that didn't exist sometimes just to fuel him up, just to piss him off. Like, this guy said something about my mom. It never really happened, but he put that in his head just to motivate him to win. So, you know, this book is incredible, man. Another key lesson takeaway from this book is to take responsibility for your outcomes. That is huge, man. A lot of us fall short on whatever goals we have, and we start to make excuses about why we didn't finish, why we didn't win. This book is, you know, by the time I was done reading this book, I realized that you can't really sit there and make excuses about why you don't have what you have, period. I don't care what the circumstance is. It's only on you to make it happen. So, super good point in this book. And then I think the third thing with this book is finding true grit, like how to dig deep and how to pass others and go harder. You know, a lot of us look at everybody and it's like there's this baseline of pain tolerance, and we think because everybody else can only go so far, then that's the ceiling. But when you just focus on yourself and find that inner you, I think you find that true grit and you're willing to go further than the next person. And I think that's what really makes you a winner. So super good book, man. Pick this one up, Relentless. Pretty. It's not even a bit, you know, a super big book. It's 230 some pages. I mean, you can knock this one out quick, man. And you know, especially if you like sports, if you want to hear some of the cool stories that he tells about Michael Jordan and how they met and stuff. It's just a cool book for a sports guy like me as well. And then the lessons in here are just incredible. So pick that up, man. Relentless. All right, guys. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. So this is actually the last book that I read recently. This is going to be number 3 on the list. And hopefully it's one that you haven't heard of yet. So this one's called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. All right. So I was completely surprised about this book. I heard people talking about it and saying it's a good read and stuff like that. And the title interests me. Outwitting the Devil is a cool, interesting title. But man, this book is a life changer. I mean, where do I start, man? You'll get secrets about how to find success in this book. And basically, the thing with this book is Napoleon Hill breaks down kind of how the energy of positive and negative works in our world, and he really aligns the positive energy in the world with God and the negative energy in the world with the devil. And he explains how the devil can kind of coax you into not living your best life and not being in that positive energy that you want to be in. There's hundreds of examples of how the devil does that in this book, and it really starts to open your eyes to your everyday actions and your mindset. So one thing, the power of hypnotic rhythm, I believe is what they called it in this book. But basically that's kind of to me, that's like your baseline of like, how much control are you of your life and your daily actions? If you really want to be something else and you're going to work every day and you're not living in the purpose that you really want, so your purpose might be to be a traveler or whatever, and you're doing something else because, you got to make money or all these other things that we have to kind of do in our life, supposedly. This book really shows you that, there's nothing that's going to bring you closer to yourself, closer to God, than living in your purpose, and really taking control of that. Because I know for a lot of us, man, we want to do things in our life. We have goals, we have things we want to do, but are they really getting done? Are we really taking steps every day to get there? Or are we just battling life? Are we just, going to work and being pissed off when we get home and not working on what we want to work on? Those types of things. So having that purpose is super important, and then using it to steer you in the right direction, using your mind to keep all the thoughts associated with what you're doing positive, and keeping all those negative thoughts away from you. Because if you have enough negative energy and enough negative thoughts in your brain, it can seem like hell on earth, and I've seen this with people. So man, this is an incredible book. I could probably do a video just on this book alone. Now I might just do that and pull out like some of my favorite quotes and stuff. Another lesson from this book is you recognize when you're drifting and when you're not living the way that you really want to. And I know I kind of said that in the first point, but Napoleon Hill had an incredible way of breaking this down. And just like the way the book works is like a conversation where he asks the devil to explain like how the devil corrupts people. And the devil says, well, I do this, this, and that. And people, it's like they love doing that. They love doing what's not good for them. And so when I think of like having a definite purpose, I think of just being very aware of, hey, I want to get to that point, and okay, my actions need to guide me there, versus, oh, I'm just living. I know I want to get over there, but I'm just kind of living. I know a lot of us do that, man. I know a lot of us do that. And the third lesson with this book, I think, is just control your energy, control your thoughts. A lot of, what the devil relies on to corrupt us as people is for us not to be thinking. Like, The devil loves when you're not thinking. The devil loves when you're not, you know, taking responsibility for your own actions. The devil loves when he's able to creep in and get you to do something that's not exactly what you want. And over time, that starts to change your psyche, and it really messes with you. And this book is incredible, and it'll show you and wake you up to some of this stuff that you really would never think about. So I can't recommend this book enough. I know a lot of the points that I talked about in this book kind of seem similar, but they are different. And when you read the book, you'll kind of understand what I mean. And yeah, so this is an awesome book. Now, that's all three, man, right here. So we got all three of our books. We got Rich Dad Poor Dad, we got Relentless, and we got Outwitting the Devil. So these three books are a great start for anybody out there that is looking to take a step in the right direction, work on yourself, become a better you, and have more control and live, a more happier life, a more fulfilled life, and really start to develop that purpose. Because I know for me, I used to hear people talk about purpose, have your purpose. I used to feel like I didn't have a purpose. Like there was nothing, like for some people, it's like they start playing baseball at like age 5 and they just go do that for the rest of their life. It's like they had a clear purpose. Or some people are like born to be a race car driver. Or some people are born to be musicians because they have incredible talent or whatever. I always felt like, man, I was always searching for my purpose. And if you're not having that clear purpose, you can end up kind of drifting along, taking a job just to pay the bills. And before you know it, life is over. So, you got to take every single second that you have here seriously. And you got to do with it what you want to do with it. And you got to define your purpose and start getting there. So these 3 books are excellent for that. And then I got one last one. Okay, I got a bonus book. I don't have it right here in the flesh with me, a copy, because I gave it to my cousin to read. But that last book, man, The Alchemist. The Alchemist, okay? Incredible book. It's not like these books. It's a story. It's actually like a nonfiction. Yeah. I'm sorry. No, that would be fiction. It's fictitious. Yeah, so that one is a fiction book. It's a novel. A guy, his name, man, I can't remember his name, but he's out of Brazil. I believe his last name is Paulo or something like that. And yeah, The Alchemist is a story about a shepherd boy, and like I believe in, somewhere over in around Egypt or Syria or something over there in the Middle East, right? And it takes place a long time ago in like biblical times almost. It seemed like, I believe, So anyway, I learned some incredible lessons from that book. And it was like one of those books that I couldn't put down. Like, I would just be thinking about like, what's going to happen next? And I would just keep reading. Like, I think I read that book in like 3 or 4 days, right? But it'll teach you how to learn and follow your heart. And what they refer to in the book is your personal legend, but what they mean is how to follow your heart, how to listen to your heart, right? Because a lot of us don't listen to our heart. We listen to society, what they tell us we need to do, and so on and so forth. So The Alchemist did wonders, man. Another thing I learned from The Alchemist is that fear can hold you back. Fear is not really a good thing. There's caution, right? I mean, you should have caution. You should not just do anything, but fear specifically can really restrict you and hold you back. And that book is incredible. It shows you through the actual characters in the book, how that can happen. So, and then the last thing on that book is that you must act to achieve. If you're not gonna take action, there's pretty much zero chance that you're ever gonna achieve those goals and dreams that you want. So you have to take action, period. A lot of people have analysis paralysis, where they are over considering the risk, and it stops them from actually just taking action. There's only so much that can happen on the bad side, on the downside for you, especially when it comes to building wealth. I mean, if you go bankrupt, is that really the worst thing in the world? Yeah, I mean, it sucks for 7 years. Your credit's effed up for 7 years, but you still have a chance. It's not over. So go ahead, get out there and take that risk, and the more research and the more financial intelligence and stuff and information you have about whatever you're doing, the better you'll be, and kind of the less risky the risk actually is. So guys, I want you guys to get into some books. If that's what you want, I wanted to make this video for those that are interested in what books I'm reading, what books really changed my life, helped me out. These three, and then the bonus one, The Alchemist, are for sure my favorite books. So with that, with no further ado, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, man. Drop me a comment. Let me know if you've read any of these books. What was your experience with these books? And what other books that kind of fit this kind of description in this area of kind of finding your purpose and things do you recommend? All right. Go ahead, follow me on Instagram at Kari.HQ. And yeah, man, if you want to consult with me, send me a DM and we can work something out. So thank y'all for watching, man. Peace.